the mirrors. We have to show everyone.
HDTV powered by DLP. See how millions of tiny mirrors make the picture amazing.
Save on Samsung HD TVs powered by DLP at Circuit City and CircuitCity.com.
Something to remind me of another place and time.
Nissan took 20 years of adventure, journeys, and concrete jungles, then built the next Nissan Pathfinder with a 270 horsepower V6, seating for 7, and independent rear suspension. Get great savings on the Nissan Pathfinder. Road trip, anyone?
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Gary Papa, meteorologist Cecily Tynan, and Jim Gardner.
It looks like a typically bucolic sunset in Pennsylvania Dutch country, a touch of paradise in Lancaster County. But they're not supposed to take away the bodies of 3 young girls in paradise. But that's what happened today and tonight. The entire Amish community, not to mention the rest of us, we're all in shock. It is Monday night, and the big story on Action News tonight is the latest on today's deadly shooting in a one-room schoolhouse in Paradise, Pennsylvania. And this is the man behind the almost unspeakable tragedy. 32-year-old Charles Roberts lined up a dozen girls against a blackboard and proceeded to act like a one-man firing squad before killing himself. In addition to the dead, 7 girls are in the hospital tonight, at least 5 in critical condition. The tight-knit Amish community in and around Bart Township was heart-poundingly stunned by the violence, people coming to the scene, and the male students, all of whom were shooed away by the gunman, sitting in a row outside the school. So much grief, so many questions. Action News reporters Jessica Borg and Sarah Bloomquist are all standing by with late developments tonight. Sarah Bloomquist live close to the school. Sarah, what's the situation there now?
Well, Jim, the school sits in a valley across this cornfield. You see behind me, you may be able to see the police lights there in the distance. They turned off the lights there a short time ago as investigators appear to be wrapping up their work at the schoolhouse turned crime scene. They are piecing together this massacre minute by minute. From the start, though, investigators have said it is clear that Charles Roberts came to the school intending to take hostages, intending to take lives, including his own.
Happened within the scene. It's a very gruesome, just a sad situation.
Investigators worked into the night collecting evidence at the one-room schoolhouse where 26 Amish students, ages 6 to 13, attend classes up until 8th grade. Just hours earlier, 32-year-old Charles Carl Roberts opened fire, shooting the school's female students at close range in the head, and then he killed himself.
I don't believe there was a female student that was within the building or teacher's aide that was within the building at the time the shooting started that got out of the building either alive or not hit by a bullet.
Around 8:45 a.m., Roberts walked 2 of his 3 kids to the bus stop and then went home. He wrote out suicide notes that his wife would later find.
He was angry. He was angry with life. He was angry at God.
Around 9:45, Roberts backed up a borrowed pickup truck at the school's front door. He'd brought with him a shotgun, a semi-automatic handgun, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, gunpowder, a stun gun, 2 knives, a change of clothing, toilet paper, earplugs, tools, and other supplies. He'd secured the doors with 2x4s and 4x6s he'd also brought along.
He had taken extreme measures to fortify this location, and it seems to us that perhaps he was preparing for a lengthy siege.
Roberts ordered the female students and 3 teenage teachers' aides to the chalkboard, and he bound their legs together with plastic and wire. He let all the boys and the adult women leave. Somehow, the teacher escaped and called 911. Roberts phoned police as the first officers arrived. He demanded they leave in 10 seconds and hung up. A negotiator attempted to make contact. It was too late.
Within seconds, he just started firing in rapid succession. So then they used the ballistic shields and they stormed the facility, but they couldn't get in the doors. They had to break in through the windows, and that's when they found him dead.
2 students and a teenager also died. The other victims were flown to hospitals around the region. Before the shooting started, Roberts called his wife and told her he wasn't coming home. Now authorities must figure out why he turned his anger on innocent young Amish children.
There may have been a loss of a child at some point in his life. A girl? One of his children. I don't know. I mean, that's something we're looking at, and that may have played into this.
Now, Commissioner Miller added that he believes Roberts came here not because he was specifically targeting the Amish community, but because this was convenient. It's near to his home, and he knew he would find his intended target, young girls. Live tonight in Bart Township, Lancaster County, I'm Sarah Bloomquist, Channel 6 Action News. Jim?
Thank you, Sarah. Action News reporter Dan Quayer has been zeroing in on the gunman tonight and looking into possible motivation for what the gunman did.
He had at least 600 rounds of ammunition. It appears to us he was planning for he had 2 knives. I mean, you know, he basically was going in there and he was never going to come out.
In a matter of minutes, Charles Carl Roberts IV unleashed a hellish wrath of terror unlike anyone had seen here in the heart of the Amish country.
It's not just a mistake, it's evil. There is evil exists.
And yet, the mild-mannered Roberts had no prior criminal history and only recently began to let on that something was amiss.
Recently, he began to not talk as much with his coworkers when he would deliver the product and whatnot. He wouldn't, joke around with them or spend time with them like he had in the past.
In rambling messages he left behind, Roberts alluded to an incident that happened when he was 12 years old in seeking revenge by targeting and killing young girls. Across this small hamlet, there was one persistent rumor about an alleged sexual incident involving a young girl that may have triggered the ruthless killings, but authorities would only say this much.
There are other people that could be affected by this, and I want to make sure that we do everything right with regard to that and with respect to them before we make a determination as to what we will say about this other incident if in fact it occurred.
At the home of Robert's parents in Strasbourg, relatives were in seclusion.
They don't want to say anything right now. They're all in shock of what happened.
Pastor Dwight Lefevre issued this statement on the family's behalf. Our hearts are broken, our lives are shattered, and we grieve for the innocents and lives that were lost. Meanwhile, by tradition, the Amish shut themselves off from the evils of the modern world. But without radio and TV, it took a while for word to get around about what happened.
We don't have a radio, so they called me. Do you know what's going on? And so I heard some things. And then as the Amish neighbors went up and down the street, I said, hey, what's the latest news?
Deeply religious, even at a young age, 13-year-old Daniel Mayer spoke of forgiveness for the lives of friends killed by Roberts.
It is tough to forgive a guy that killed your friends, but I know that you have to do that. You have to forgive those who hurt you.
This terrible rampage is the kind of evil that has the Amish living the sheltered lives that they do. That this evil so ruthlessly found its way here has many shocked and shaken beyond belief. We're live here in Nickel Mines, Pennsylvania. Dan Quayer, Channel 6, Action News.
Thank you, Dan. Action News reporter Jessica Borg is live at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, where 3 of the victims are in critical condition. Jessica, what's the latest there?
Jim, I can tell you tonight, all 3 of these girls are out of surgery. This has been an extremely busy day and night for hospital staff here. Everyone here is, of course, just hoping there is a positive change in these girls' conditions. Tonight, distraught family members of the 3 girls here at Children's Hospital arrived to be by their side. They were quickly escorted in. The 3 young girls taken here today are all said to be in critical condition right now. At 1:30 this afternoon, an 8-year-old shot in the neck and arm was flown here. 1/2 hour later, a 12-year-old girl was flown here. She had been shot in the arm and leg. At 2:40, a 10-year-old was rushed here. She had been shot in the head. A hospital spokeswoman says all of the girls underwent surgeries that lasted several hours. Again, all are in critical condition tonight. There are also other children hospitalized because of this tragic shooting. At Penn State Children's Hospital in Hershey, Pennsylvania, 3 girls are being treated. A 6-year-old girl and 8-year-old girl are both in critical condition. A 13-year-old girl underwent surgery there. Her condition has been upgraded from critical to serious. Tonight at Christiana Hospital in Delaware, 1 child is being treated. At this point, the hospital is not releasing any information about the girl's condition. And here at Children's Hospital in University City, the hospital says given that these families are members of the Amish community and are so private, they are respecting their wishes and releasing a few details. But I am told if there is an update on these girls' conditions, that information will be made available sometime tomorrow morning. That's the latest tonight from University City. I'm Jessica Borg, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Jessica. Members of the Amish community are unique in the way they support each other, and they will now have the chance to demonstrate that under such tragic circumstances. Action News reporter Lauren Wilson touched base with the community today.
In this world where time stands still and modern conveniences are shunned, those in the Amish community gathered at a farmhouse where one of the young victims lived. Most turned their backs on the media, but given what happened here, some simply could not, like this man who refused to give his name.
Something that God let happen, and we want to accept it. We want to forgive the people, and we want to move on with God's help.
This Mennonite man also leaned on his spiritual beliefs.
God exists, and Satan exists. And there is sin in the world, and there's a sin nature. And what happened today is an evidence of part of that sin nature.
The shooting shattered what appeared to be a picture-perfect place before an outsider came in.
We live in a community where there's a lot of people who are not Amish, and they watch television. They see a lot of bad stuff that we don't see. And so when I think of what that guy did, well, right away I'm saying, well, he was taught that.
Ann Fisher and her husband are neighbors of the Amish victims.
Well, we're very close friends. He had triple bypass, and our Amish friends were the very first ones that ever came to help us out.
Helping each other heal appears to be the only thing left to do for an entire community that is in mourning.
I know most all of them,
That's okay. It's hard to see your kids hurt.
Yeah, they're friends.
In Bart Township, I'm Lauren Wilson, Channel 6 Action News.
As several of the young shooting victims continue their recovery here at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, many of us are faced with a dilemma. When we as adults can't understand such a senseless and brutal attack, what's the best way to explain it to our children?
This has been a terrible, terrible tragedy for a community and a state.
Dr. Matthew Moran is Director of Trauma at St. Christopher's Hospital for Children. Unfortunately, he sees tragedy almost every day. But Dr. Moran is also the father of 3 young girls and says he plans to take a middle road when it comes to discussing the school shooting in Lancaster County.
I don't know that I would bring it up to my children, but if my children ask questions about it, I try to answer them as truthfully and honestly as I can and say, well, yes, some children were shot in a school by somebody who was mentally ill.
Dr. Moran says this cautious but upfront approach is particularly important to counter misinformation kids may have heard at school. But he says parents, you should share what happened instead of letting youngsters glean the details from media reports.
I don't think they need to see gory, gross details. I don't think that helps them.
What can help is letting kids talk about their fears and reassuring them of their safety. Clearly, the grief and loss will resonate most in Lancaster County, but many students may feel a little less secure in their classrooms in the coming days. Anita Brickman, Channel 6 Action News.
Of course, today's shootings are the latest in a series of violent incidents at schools across the country. This morning in Las Vegas, officials locked down 2 high schools after a teenager brought a gun to school. No shots were fired. The teen was arrested. Friday in Wisconsin, a 9th grade student shot his principal to death. 15-year-old Eric Hainstock faces first-degree murder charges. And last Wednesday, Dwayne Morrison stormed Platte Canyon High School in Bailey, Colorado. He assaulted several female students, then shot a 16-year-old student to death before taking his own life. The motive in that case remains unclear. Late today, the Bush administration announced plans to hold a conference next week to discuss this school violence. And we will, of course, continue to monitor the situation in Lancaster County. We'll update you on the investigation and the recovery process of both the surviving victims and their families on Action News tomorrow morning beginning at 5 a.m. And you can always learn more about this or any story 24 hours a day by going to our website at 6abc.com. A Delaware County man is behind bars tonight after police confiscated an arsenal of weapons at his home. 47-year-old Charles Connor was arrested after he allegedly threatened a nurse at Delaware County Memorial Hospital last week. When they searched Connor's home in Drexel Hill, police found 53 guns, dozens of knives, and bomb-making equipment. Connor has been charged with making terroristic threats and weapons offenses. Officials in Mercer County, New Jersey are investigating 2 suspected cases of Legionnaire's disease. Both victims live at the Alvin Gershon Apartments in Hamilton Township. One has recovered and is back home. The other is being treated at Robert Wood Johnson Hospital. The manager of the apartment complex says testing is underway and that the water has been turned off as a precaution. Monday Night Football tonight at the Link and on Channel 6, and it took the Eagles a while to get on track. But when they did, Gary Papa,
Yes.
they did so on both sides of the ball.
Sean Barber having a little fun right here behind me, of course. Why not? They won 31-9. Thank you, Sean. Getting the dust off?
Yeah, I was just, popping your collar, getting a little of that dirt off your shoulders. A lot of haters around here, they hating on us, but we came to do work, you know what I'm saying?
Want to go through the highlights real fast with me? Why not? Okay, here we go. You're up. You're down 9-7. Third quarter action. You know what this guy's going to do. Here you go. Donovan to that man, Greg Lewis.
Ooh, that's nice. I think we did that. That was we doubled up on that twice lane. I think, G. Lewis making the most of it.
30-yard play coming up again. G. Lewis.
Hey, right now he's feeling unstoppable. This guy puts a move on him at the 5-yard line, goes in. I think he was into the tunnel. That's a little reminiscence of my man from Oakland.
First time ever. Donovan with 2 touchdown passes running. This one, beautiful move. Donovan of old right there. You guys went 31-9.
Yeah, he get that move from Allen Iverson. They, in the offseason, they do a little one-on-one. So I'm sure he's going to give AA all the credit for that shake and bake.
Shake and break and a nice sound right here, of course. A couple injuries to talk about, Sean. Reggie Brown, sprained AC joint in the shoulder. That could be a problem, couldn't it?
No, he's a war daddy. Around here, we make us Eagles here tough, man, and we ain't letting nothing stop us. So I expect Reggie to be up and ready to go next week.
Where do you play next week?
I don't know. Really.
Santa Claus ain't coming to town.
No, I'm putting the hush rule on myself about next week. I'm just going to let my play do the talking next week.
Thanks, Sean.
That's all I know.
Thanks for the grooming tips.
Yes, sir.
T.O.'s coming to town, of course. Right now we'll be talking post-Green Bay, but almost as soon as this is over, we'll be talking about that guy. More coming up on the Football Frenzy, Inside the Locker Room, exclusive video of Andy Reid talking to his players. Also, we got to talk to that man, G. Lewis, with our woman, Jamie Apodi. All that coming up. Football Frenzy mode right here in South Philadelphia. Okay, Jim.
Thank you, Gary. Still to come on Action News tonight, a step back in time out west. Cowboys rounding up thousands of bison the old-fashioned way. And the political fallout continues from the email sex scandal involving a U.S. congressman.
We'll get ready to put away the jackets for a couple days. We have a taste of summer on the way, but it won't last long. We'll have details in the AccuWeather 5-day forecast.
More on the Eagles' victory. Another live report from Gary Papa when Action News continues tonight.
It's here. Only at Ford dealerships. The Right Now Factory Authorized Tire Event. With special offers by the truckload on the name brand tires recommended for your Ford. Buy 4 select Goodyear tires and get an iTunes gift card or an iPod Nano. Plus great deals on all genuine Ford parts and service. Hurry, this event ends soon. Visit your local participating Quality Plus Ford dealers right now.
Powerball, always a big jackpot. In fact, the jackpot is now $15 million.
Finally releasing from the Disney Vault. Remember the adventure. Remember the characters. Jumping jellyfish. Remember the music. Under the sea. Of Disney's timeless classic, The Little Mermaid, on 2-disc DVD tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Tyler Florence, and welcome to my kitchen. Food is my passion. I've shown you how to make it on TV, and I've written a few cookbooks. And now with Applebee's, I've created signature recipes just for you.
Introducing Huge Flavor by Tyler Florence.
Like my crispy brick chicken, I take fresh rosemary and olive oil, and I sear it right in. It is so crispy, it's crackling with flavor. And then I pair it up with a phenomenal salad. From my kitchen to your table.
Tyler's Huge Flavor. Try all 4, new from Applebee's.
And that's eating good in the neighborhood.
Hey, Lou, I have something for you.
What's that?
Normally I would just put it in the mail, but I just...
After all these years, this place is 100% mine.
Congratulations.
Hey, how about a cut from the official owner?
Yeah, all right, sure. Just a trim.
This will just take a minute.
It might be about paying less at the pump. Or putting less in the air. It might be about driving the car of tomorrow. Or giving something back today. Everyone has their reason. Maybe that's why Toyota has more hybrids on the road than anyone else. Hybrid Synergy Drive from Toyota.
Health Check is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Action News, now in high definition. To see Action News in HD, turn to Comcast Digital Channel 231 or check your service provider for HD availability.
The Republican leadership on Capitol Hill faced more tough questions today about what they knew and when did they know it concerning former Congressman Mark Foley. The six-term Florida Republican stepped down Friday after an ABC News report that he sent illicit emails to teenage boys working as house pages. Well, today, Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert denounced those messages while his office and some other GOP leaders acknowledged they knew about an inappropriate email contact Foley had with a page in the past, that they knew it as early as 2005. The scandal in the spotlight while Republicans battle to maintain congressional power in the November elections. Meanwhile, Foley said in a statement, quote, "I deeply regret and accept full responsibility for the harm I have caused." A pair of American doctors are this year's winners of the Nobel Prize for Medicine. The announcement came today from the Nobel panel in Stockholm. A cheering crowd greeted Andrew Fire at Stanford University. He, along with Craig Mello at the University of Massachusetts, discovered a technique to silence mutant genes by interfering with the messenger carrying RNA. It's going to get hot over the next couple of days, right?
2 days, feeling like summer, definitely. Storm Tracker 6 Live showing right now clear conditions out there, no rain at all. We do have a few patchy clouds here and there, but really gorgeous weather tonight. And Sky 6, take a look at the link. Perfect football weather right now, officially at the airport in Philadelphia. Partly cloudy, the temperature 58 degrees, humidity 84%, barometer 30.21 and rising. Winds are calm and the ocean temperature 67 degrees. Today we were normal. Nice to be normal for a change. Our morning low 54 degrees. That's the normal low for this time of the year. And our high right on target 71 degrees. Second day we hit 71, the record high 87 and the record low 39 degrees. So this is what it's supposed to feel like for early October. Right now we're in the 50s. Trenton 53, Wildwood 55, Reading 53, Allentown, Atlantic City, the cool spots at 50, and Wilmington is the warm spot, if you want to call that warm, at 59 degrees. Satellite 6 along with Action Radar showing we saw a lot of sunshine today. We're beginning to get a little bit of some high cloudiness kind of spilling over this warm front that'll move through tomorrow, and this is what will bring us the dramatic warm up. Right now, the current temperature in St. Louis is 79 degrees. In Dallas, it's 82 with the wind shifting out of the southwest. They'll tap into some of this heat, although it will be modifying. We won't be quite as warm as it has been in the southern plains. Tonight, comfortably cool, overnight low 48 in the suburbs, 55 for Center City. Tomorrow, this warm front moving through. That means temperatures soaring up near 80. Wednesday in the mid 80s, but then cold front moving through Wednesday night could bring us some wet weather and back to reality for the end of the week and for the weekend. The call from AccuWeather for the next 2 days, though, it's a return to summer. Enjoy it. Tonight, a few clouds, comfortably cool, overnight low 48 to 55. Tomorrow, temperatures soar up near 80 degrees with a lot of sunshine, just a few fair weather clouds. The exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast Wednesday ahead of that cold front. The surge of air from the south increases, so that means our afternoon high up near near 84 degrees, but Wednesday night into Thursday morning, the front moving through bring us some showers, maybe even a gusty thunderstorm. Thursday, temperatures dropping nearly 20 degrees. So here's the reality check, 66. Friday, lots of sunshine, the winds diminishing, but even a little bit cooler, the high only 64. But heading into the weekend, looks to be a pretty nice weekend. Saturday, mostly sunny, temperatures up a notch to 66. And as we take a look beyond the 5-day through the weekend into next week, sunny and dry both days, and temperatures will edge back up near normal with highs in the upper 60s, typical fall-like weather. But the next 2 days, it'll feel like summer.
Thanks, Cecily. Talk about the Wild West. 1,500 bison went on a stampede across the Black Hills of South Dakota. This all wrapped up 3 days of events for the 41st annual Buffalo Roundup and Arts Festival in Custer State Park. Cowboys rounding them up on horseback and by vehicle. The wild animals are herded into corrals every year. Some will be auctioned off next month. The rest will go back into the wild.
This AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by Pico, an Exelon company, bringing you reliable energy all year long.
Catch ABC College Football Primetime this Saturday. Presented by the all-new BMW 3 Series Coupe. Its beauty runs deep. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
It's Gus, the second most famous groundhog in Pennsylvania.
I was sitting in a pumpkin patch, as happy as can be, playing the new instinct game from the Pennsylvania Lottery.
It is the scratch.
I played the Pumpkin Patch Cash.
It was a blast.
The game was quite a smash. Just buy a $5 ticket. All it takes is a little scratch, and you just might win 50 grand in cash.
It is the scratch.
Oh, it's quite a gas.
It is the scratch.
I played the Pumpkin Patch Cash. Keep on scratching.
Here's the scratch. Yeah. And the beat. Yeah.
They say that in life, there's only room for one great passion. Unless you're really clever. Viagra. Viagra can help guys with all degrees of erectile dysfunction, from mild to severe.
Before taking Viagra, make sure you're healthy enough to have sex. Don't take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain because it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away. Viagra is one of several ED treatments you and your doctor can consider.
Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you.
Paula Sela is a real Geico customer, not an actor. So to help tell her story, we hired that announcer guy from the movies.
When the storm hit, both our cars were totally underwater.
In a world where both of our cars were totally underwater,
We thought it would take forever to get some help.
but a new wind was about to blow.
With Geico, we had our check in 2 days.
Payback. This time, it's for real.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
You know, really smart time to buy a Toyota? Now. Because during Toyota's Columbus Day event, you'll find savings on Toyota's most popular models, like the all-new 2007 Camry, the best-selling car in America, or the fuel-efficient Highlander. And don't forget about the Sienna, which seats up to 8. Find low leases or low financing or high cashback savings at your local Toyota Columbus Day event. You know, buying a Toyota is smart anytime, but right now, it's really smart. Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward.
Well, tonight was the night that a trio of heroic Overbrook High School football players enjoyed their rewards for their bravery. The Eagles gave Marchese Carter, Yosef Bangora, and Kalen Bridget, he is not pictured here, tickets to the game tonight at Lincoln Financial Field. The student athletes watched the game from the sidelines. They saved an elderly woman from her burning home 3 weeks ago, and they had a lot of fun here tonight. But a lot of questions despite the victory tonight. An injury is among those questions, right?
And T.O. now becomes the focus, but let's
I
take
guess.
time out to enjoy this one for a minute. No Brian Westbrook, still no excuse. If you can't beat Green Bay at home on Monday Night Football with no Amon Green, you might as well pack it in. Terrell Buckhalter, 18 touches this season coming in. How many more will he get after this? He fumbles twice in the first half inside the 5. After the Eagles recovered a Packers fumble, Donovan says, forget spreading the wealth, I'll do it myself. At least one rushing score every year since his rookie season. Into the half, 1 second left, David Akers from 53. Who made this call? Clearly not Andy Reid. Eagles down 9-7 at the break. Birds score on their first 4 possessions of the second half. Greg Lewis, 2 TD catches, only had 1 for his career. The Eagles picked Favre 2 times. McNabb foots the bill in more ways than one. Eagles 3-1, 31-9. That's your final. Gary Papa is live at Lincoln Financial Field. Unlike the previous 2 games, this time the Eagles saved their best for last.
Absolutely. 31-9 is your final. Talking about the injury Jim Gardner was, of course, Reggie Brown. They're saying what it is. It's a sprained AC joint. Not Atlantic City. AC joint right here in the shoulder. Should be able to play next week, but that is a big question. More tests are needed. Now, on the field, we talked to the man with those 2 touchdown receptions. He, of course, is Greg Lewis.
The guy seemed like he was somewhat tired, and Coach Reed thought it would be a good opportunity for me to get in there. So I was just chilling on the sideline. I got in there and ran past him, and Donovan put a great ball up there, and I just made a play.
You didn't even break stride on that 50-yard pass the first one.
Nah, it was only 45, though.
Oh, okay.
Don't give me too many yards. But it was cool, though. I mean, Donovan put it out there. I mean, he had great protection by the line, and everybody did their job. It was just up to me to finish it off.
All right, hey, listen, great job. Great job tonight, man. That's a tough thing to do. When things aren't quite going right, and all of a sudden you pick it up, muster it up, man, and crank it. That was a great job.